Hi, welcome to Family Business Coach TV. Thanks for joining us today. Today we're going to have a client and just a great guy join us, Michael McCloskey. Michael and I have done some coaching work over the last year or so, and Michael, I'm going to let Michael tell his story, but I think Michael might have a few gems to share with us that everybody will enjoy. Michael, thanks for joining us today, the day before Thanksgiving.
Hi, Coach Pete. How you doing?
Good, buddy. From Chandler, Arizona. So, Michael, you and I talked just a couple of weeks ago. You told me that you reached the decision and took the action to leave the family business. So, first and foremost, I want to acknowledge you for that. I know that was a decision that was a long time coming, and I want to acknowledge you for your strength and your character and having made that same decision myself. You know, I know it's one that doesn't come easy. So congratulations for reaching that important milestone.
Thank you very much.
And so tell us a little bit, like, what would you say to other kids in family business, or maybe just give us a little background on your family business without maybe the exact specifics, but you've been kind of raised in the business, or were in the business how long?
Yeah, well, I have been raised in the business. My parents own a chain of retail stores and successful retail stores. They started owning the business when I was just a few months old. They started their first business.
Wow.
So it's literally been something that I've grown up with my entire life.
Yeah.
So, you know, I've been involved in it in some capacity all through the years. My elementary years, seeing my parents go off to work and not having them around a lot because they were building a business, to maybe being in junior high and helping them out a little bit here and there with a few tasks, a few housekeeping chores, and eventually into high school taking on more and more of an active role in the business. And now in my adulthood, having passed college, I truly had a very strong commitment and involvement in the business.
How did you come to your decision? And again, without kind of maybe all the nitty-gritty details, what's it come down to for you? Why are you leaving?
Well, I think it's important to know, as part of my background, that my involvement in my family business has been very deep-rooted. It's been something not only that I've grown up with since I was born, but it's for generations. This line of work has been something that's been in my family. My family has been either involved in the manufacturing and production, or the retail or wholesale sales of retail goods. And so I'm the eighth generation of my family and my
Wow.
family lineage. So it's kind of expected that I continue in the family line of work. So I think it's important to get that out there. Sort of the essence of the decision was basically recognizing that as an adult now with a wife and a family of my own, that the responsibility to provide financially for myself and my family is ultimately on me. I don't need mommy and daddy to support me anymore, but I also don't need their approval. It's important that I make decisions for myself that are going to benefit myself and properly provide an appropriate lifestyle for my wife and child now, and hopefully future children. So once you kind of, as somebody that's a successor or part of that next generation, once you can kind of get to that stage where you can kind of separate yourself a little bit from mommy and daddy and kind of needing to go to for their approval and getting them, you need to kind of separate yourself from the need to always get their approval and say, oh, is this okay? Is this okay? To recognizing, wait a second, I'm an adult and I'm providing financially for my family. And because of those reasons, I need to make the best decision that I can to properly support that family unit. And once I was able to kind of stray a little bit from that, I was able to kind of take a bird's eye view of the situation and recognize that my family and I might be better served if I were to have a different line of work.
Yeah, that's great. And I know we talk about that. That was kind of my experience of it as well. At some point, I realized that hey, I am who I am. I know who I am in the context of the family business and outside of the context of the family businesses, which is really important. So again, I applaud you for that. And so what kind of lessons would you say or give to someone that was 20 or 23 years old and starting in the family business? What kind of wisdom might you give them?
Well, I wouldn't necessarily say, wait, stop, don't. But I would say that it's probably pretty important for you to get some real life experience or real work experience outside of a family business. I know of one family in our industry that they say if you they say to their children, if you want to be involved in our family business whatsoever, you need to go spend a minimum of 5 years working for someone else. And I don't know if you need to say it's 5 years or more or less, but it is important, I think, for the successor or somebody that's a child or part of the next generation to a family business to go and really experience what it is like to go and work in another business. Now, I had some other side jobs here and there, but nothing very strong or very concrete. A concrete business that I worked at for a number of years, but it is important to work for different bosses, to work in different types of environments, and start to see for yourself, does this environment work for me? Does that environment work for me? And eventually you'll be able to separate in your mind what you do or don't like about certain employers or do or don't like about certain lines of work. And then you can come and work for your parents or your grandparents or your aunts and uncles or whoever it is in your family that runs a family business. And once you do that and you're able to compare it to this past experience, I think you'll be a lot better served.
That's, again, a really good point. So you have a better frame of reference. You get to choose. If you come back into the business, it's an active choice that you make. And so that brings me to kind of an interesting question here. You're going to venture out into some new worlds. Would you say that there's a possibility that someday you could return to the family business? Do you see that as a possibility right now? Or are you kind of like I was when I was leaving my family business? I was pretty excited and pretty fully believing that I would never go back to it. But what's your sense of that for you?
Quite honestly, things are not pleasant at this point. I don't have a personal relationship and may not with my parents for some time as a direct result of my interaction with them recently in the family business. So when you ask if I might consider returning to the family business, at this point, no. But no, at this point, that's not something that I'm really considering it or see it all as a possibility. But who knows? Time will tell, and perhaps they have a great need for me, and I'm able to not only reconcile my personal relationship with them, but come to them, and we can form a proper business working relationship.
Yeah.
Not holding out hope with it, but I'm not holding out hope for that, but I'm also not opposed to that opportunity at some point in time.
Well, I appreciate your honest answer there. And so generally, how you feeling right now? You're excited, you're sad, you're confident. What's going on? How are you feeling about moving out into a new space?
Well, I have chosen to resign my position with the family business, and I'm currently exploring new opportunities. I'm kind of taking a calmer approach to life and not and trying to go about finding another position that again uniquely fits my talents, my needs and desires in order to provide properly for my family. And so that's kind of where my mind frame is today, is kind of going through with the next chapter of my life in a more calm and analytical manner. And I'm ready for adventure, ready to see what lies ahead.
Good. Well, speaking of lies ahead, you tell me that you've started a blog, and you want to just tell us about that?
I have. It's located at mymomandpopshop.com. And the purpose of my blog is to basically create an open dialogue or an open forum for people that are part of that next generation or might be considered successors to a family business. This would be a place where I can share with the public maybe some tips or some of the trials and tribulations, or give people an inside look at what it is behind the scenes in a family business. I have siblings that I have or haven't been involved in the business at various points in time. I have quite unique relationship with both my mother and father, who are both in the family business. And I also have the involvement of my grandfather, kind of the patriarch to our family business. So I got this whole cast of characters that I plan to share with the people, the readers of my blog at mymomandpopshop.com.
Great. People look forward to that. Hey, Michael, just briefly tell us, how did coaching play into it? I know I worked with mom and dad and you can be as, brutally honest as you can be in terms of what your experience was of coaching. I mean, did coaching play into this at all, and how did that impact your journey?
Well, I thank you for having me as your first guest here on your new website. And, I did spend some time with you as well as my parents trying to iron out the rough edges of our relationships, of both personal and business oriented relationships. How do I feel coaching went for me? Well, I'm here today and accepted your gracious invitation because I feel that that your coaching, your assistance with me was part of my deciding factor that gave me the strength, the courage to move on. Having not an unbiased, kind of neutral third party involved in the relationship kind of allowed me to see like, hey, maybe I'm being selfish about some matters, maybe I'm not about others, but maybe helped me to see their side of things as well. But I certainly garnered a lot of strength, as I said, and courage from our interactions over a year's worth of time. And that allowed me to kind of move on with my life.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you saying that. You were great. I hope for you what I hope for everybody, which is that you find work that you love, that rewards you both personally and financially. And, I'm going to hold the possibility someday that you go back to your family business. That could happen. If it does, it'll make a great episode on Family Business Coach TV. Maybe you'll come on for another episode at some time and we'll explore or just talk about what's going on with your relationship, do some coaching relative to that, and have you look at some actions or mindsets or perspectives you can take. And I think some of that takes time. I know from my own personal experience, it just takes time for some of that to thaw and some of that to go on. But it's been a pleasure to get to know you. I hope you'll come back on the show, maybe we can share some of your stories at your blog. And I hope you and your family have a wonderful Thanksgiving, and keep us posted, because I think my viewers are going to want to hear how you're doing, what's going on the other side. I think you're getting a chance to be a leader for other people that are walking in your footsteps. So when you come back on the show and say, hey, I got a great job and I love what I'm doing, that'll provide some courage and inspiration to others. So congratulations, good work. And
Thanksgiving is here this week, and thank you for everything you've done for me and for providing this forum for myself and countless other family businesses that are kind of struggling to find a way to properly converse. So thank you very much for everything you do.
Well, thank you, Michael. Have a great Thanksgiving with your beautiful wife and your beautiful daughter, and we'll talk to you soon, okay?
All right, thank you very much.
Hey, will you hold on just for 1 minute? I'm just going to wrap up, and then we're going to talk for a moment. So that's Michael's story. Many of you have similar stories that are, in process, if you will. And so I want to encourage you, please come back, share your stories with us here. And remember, if the family business isn't working for you, figure out how to make your life work. And life's too short to be suffering in a family business. We'll see you back here on FBC TV real soon. Thanks again.